Welcome to my channel. Today we're going to start with a bang. Are you tired of feeling torn between what you know is right and what feels good in the moment? Are you sick and tired of starting new projects with a burst of enthusiasm only to quit halfway through with no follow-through? Well, today you're going to discover the hidden truth behind the war within. You will want to stick around till the end. This is going to be mind-blowing, so let's dig in. Imagine this. Two generals locked in an eternal struggle, each convinced that they alone possess the key to victory. One, a stoic strategist, values logic and reason. The other, a passionate commander, leads with intuition and instinct. Logic is the voice of restraint, caution, long-term thinking. Emotion, the champion of instant gratification, survival instincts. So which general will win the day? Logic or emotion? And does it really matter? You see, our brains are hardwired for both rational analysis and emotional reactivity. Your logical brain, often called the thinker, processes information quickly, calculates risks and rewards, weighs pros and cons. Your emotional brain, the feeler, reacts instinctively to perceived threats or opportunities. It relies on past experiences, memories, and body language to inform its decisions. The constant interplay between these two mental powerhouses creates a battlefield within your mind, shaping everything from your everyday choices to your life's biggest moments. So, let me ask you this. Are you happy being led around by your emotions? Or would you rather take charge with your logical mind? Whatever your answer, this is just the beginning of an epic tale unfolding within you right now. To understand the full story, we must explore three crucial battles between logic and emotion, battles that rage within us all and define who we truly are. And let me tell you, the outcome of this internal conflict has the power to transform your life forever. The first battle we call the decision trap. Have you ever stood in the middle of a store, frozen by indecision? Faced with countless choices, each promising something different, we often feel paralyzed by the fear of picking wrong. In these moments, logic screams, don't be impulsive, weigh the options, calculate the risks. But emotion whispers, go with your gut, trust your instincts, live in the moment. It's a tug of war within your mind, and the stakes couldn't be higher. On one corner, we have the thinker. This logical powerhouse analyzes every detail, weighing pros and cons, crunching numbers, and calculating probabilities. With the thinker, nothing is beyond scrutiny. Every option is dissected, every consequence considered. But what happens when the thinker becomes too focused on the details? Enter the second player, the feeler. This emotional heavyweight reacts instinctively to perceived threats and opportunities. Guided by past experiences and body language, the feeler acts with the speed and unpredictability of a storm. But what if the feeler becomes too reactive? When logic and emotion collide in this way, we often feel trapped by the conflict between our rational mind and our instinctive feelings. Think about the number of times you've experienced this internal struggle. Should you pursue that dream job overseas or stay safe and familiar? Take the big risk with your new business idea or play it safe with a stable but unfulfilling job? Trust your partner despite past betrayals or walk away to protect your broken heart. These are the crossroads moments in life that test our resilience. They force us to confront the conflicting voices within and choose a path forward. Sometimes we lean towards logic, prioritizing stability and security. Other times we listen to emotion, chasing dreams and taking chances. But what if there was a better way? A way to harness the power of both logic and emotion to navigate life's challenges more effectively? What if the real solution lies not in suppressing one side or the other, but in learning to work with them? In this corner, we have the firebrand, a passionate advocate for creative expression, individuality, and freedom. Armed with intuition and creativity, the firebrand charges forward with reckless abandon, unafraid of failure or societal norms. But wait, another contender emerges from the shadows, the analyst, a meticulous planner, prioritizing efficiency, order, and results. Equipped with logic and reason, the analyst calculates every move, leaving no room for spontaneity or missteps. As the battle rages, passions ignite, causing chaos and destruction in its wake. While the analyst counters with cold precision, disrupting the flow with logic and order. The battle between logic and emotion is a constant dance within us all. Often logic prevails, guiding us towards practical and pragmatic solutions. Yet emotion can unexpectedly surge, derailing our carefully laid plans and leading us off the beaten path. Imagine, for instance, that you've meticulously planned a project, poring over every detail, calculating every possibility. You've accounted for potential problems, developed contingency plans, and calculated the ideal timeline for completion. Everything is in place and ready to go. Then suddenly, a wave of doubt washes over you. Your gut tells you to slow down, to question certain assumptions, or consider alternative approaches. Answer this. Do you trust your instincts or stick to the plan? This is the essence of the decision trap, where logic and emotion clash, where our carefully constructed plans can crumble in an instant, leaving us unsure of what to do next. The second battle we call the illusion of rationality. Did you know that even your seemingly logical choices are secretly influenced by emotions? From deciding on a career path to choosing a life partner, your feelings play a vital role. It's not always as clear-cut as you might think. Think back to the last time you made a so-called logical choice. Perhaps you decided to break up with someone because it seemed like the best decision for your future happiness. Or maybe you chose a specific career path because it promised financial stability and success. But beneath the surface of these decisions, emotions lurk, driving you towards what feels right to you. In fact, every choice you make is filtered through the lens of your unique experiences and feelings. Your emotional and physical reactions to various situations shape your perception of the world. And it's these perceptions that influence the logical decisions you believe you're making. For example, if you associate water with a traumatic event like a near-drowning experience, you may irrationally fear swimming pools, lakes, or even the ocean. Similarly, if you grew up in a chaotic household, you might develop a deep-seated need for stability and order in your adult relationships. These subconscious associations and reactions dictate how you interpret information, ultimately influencing the choices you make. So even when you think you're being completely rational, your emotions are secretly guiding you. By understanding this, you can start to see how logic and emotion work together, not against each other. It's a balancing act where both sides play a crucial role in shaping your reality. The third battle we call the ultimate mind hack. Now let me share a secret with you, a game-changing insight that can revolutionize the way you approach decisions. Logic and emotion aren't enemies to be battled. They're allies to be embraced. The key is to learn how to work with them, not against them. It's time to rewrite the narrative, to shift from a mentality of war to one of collaboration. Imagine a scenario where your logical and emotional sides come together, combining forces to create a powerful synergy. When logic and emotion unite, they form a dynamic duo capable of tackling any challenge. Think about it. Logic brings objectivity and rationality to the table, analyzing situations with a clear and detached perspective. Meanwhile, emotion infuses passion and drive, urging you to take action and pursue what matters most to you. Together, they become a formidable team. For example, imagine you're facing a difficult decision, torn between two choices that appeal to different aspects of your personality. Using logic alone, you analyze the pros and cons, weigh the risks and potential outcomes. But this leaves you feeling cold and detached from the process. Turning to emotion alone, you might find yourself swayed by feelings and gut instincts without a clear understanding of the consequences. However, when you bring logic and emotion together, you strike a harmonious balance. Your logical side helps you assess the practical implications of your choices, while your emotional side adds depth, ensuring that you consider the impact on your values, beliefs, and aspirations. This fusion of rationality and intuition enables you to make decisions that align with both your head and your heart, leading to outcomes that are not only logical, but also personally fulfilling. Now here's a mind hack, a simple yet powerful technique to help you tap into this combined power of logic and emotion. Next time you face a decision, big or small, ask yourself this question: what would I tell my best friend to do? By adopting this mindset, you shift your perspective, becoming a detached observer ready to guide a loved one through the complexities of the choice. This approach allows you to combine the objectivity of logic with the empathy of emotion, leading to a more balanced and compassionate decision-making process. And remember, this is a skill that sharpens with practice. So start small, applying this mind hack to everyday choices until you master the art of integrating logic and emotion in your life. You'll be amazed at the clarity and confidence it brings. But it doesn't stop there. As you continue to practice this mind hack, you'll unlock deeper insights about yourself. You'll discover the root of your decision-making style, whether it's predominantly logical or emotional. This self-awareness is the cornerstone of personal growth, allowing you to recognize patterns, biases, and areas for improvement. By understanding your tendencies, you can consciously work on balancing your logical and emotional sides, creating a more harmonious and effective decision-making process. So are you ready to embrace the power within you? Will you harness the combined forces of logic and emotion to navigate life's challenges? Or will you continue to battle between the two, letting them hold you back? The choice, dear viewer, is ultimately yours. Remember, logic and emotion aren't enemies to be feared, but allies to be embraced. As you come to terms with this reality, you'll find a newfound strength, clarity, and purpose in every aspect of your life. It is time to put an end to the internal war and start writing a new chapter of collaboration, balance, and growth within yourself. We've all been here. You're torn between two options, love and logic battling it out inside your head. Maybe it's a job opportunity that feels wrong, a friend who doesn't treat you well, or a hobby you love but are bad at. So stick around to the end where we will uncover those aha moments to harness this power. So many times we feel stuck between what our heart wants and what our head says is best, often creating a big dramatic battle in our minds. But what if instead of being enemies working against each other, will and emotion could team up and become the ultimate dynamic duo? In this video, we'll look at how these two forces work together. First, we'll debunk the myth of pure logic. Then we'll explore the science behind why our emotions affect our rationality. And finally, we'll reveal a simple hack to help you choose the path that's right for you. Part 2, the problem with pure logic. You might think, I make decisions logically, but here's the twist. Even when we think we're being purely rational, emotions are still playing a role. We just don't realize it. For example, have you ever been so sure you were making the smart choice, only to feel uneasy afterward? That's because your gut was telling you something you ignored. Or maybe you justified a decision with logic, but deep down you knew you were just trying to convince yourself. Being purely logical seems ideal, but it's actually more complicated than it appears. It requires dissecting every option, predicting future outcomes, calculating probabilities, and evaluating the value of potential results. And even then, there's no guarantee that the most logical choice will lead to the best outcome. For example, staying at a job that pays the bills but makes you miserable may be the most logical choice in terms of financial stability. But what's the point of financial security if you're miserable? Sometimes our most logical choices can lead us to unhappiness. Similarly, ending a toxic relationship may seem like the most logical thing to do, but it can still hurt like hell. This is why sometimes the logical choice isn't the one we end up making. And while we might think our decisions are entirely rational, studies show that's almost never the case. Our emotions play a huge role in decision making, even when it comes to things we think are purely logical. It turns out that even our most rational seeming decisions are made with our whole hearts and brains, not just our heads. Part 3. The illusion of rationality studies show that people with brain damage affecting emotional processing struggle to make even the simplest decisions. They can get stuck endlessly analyzing options without ever choosing one. This proves that even the most rational decisions need emotions to function. In other words, the war between logic and emotion is a myth. They're not enemies, they're partners. Think of it this way: logic sets the course, but emotion guides the way. When we try to ignore our emotions and pretend they're not there, we lose the benefit of their guidance. This is why sometimes, even when we know what we should do, we still end up going with our gut. Our intuition is based on past experiences and subconscious observations that our brains have processed. By ignoring our gut feeling, we're essentially ignoring all that prior learning. Imagine it like driving a car. You set your destination using logic, but you rely on your instincts and sensory input to navigate the road. The same is true with our decisions. We use logic to set our goals, but our emotions help guide us toward achieving them. When we try to shut off our emotions, we lose this valuable guidance system. That's why sometimes our most logical plans fail. We miss important details or make unwise choices along the way. On the other hand, when we listen to our gut, even if the path isn't perfectly logical, we have a much better chance of reaching our destination successfully. But how exactly can we get our logic and emotion working together in harmony? How can we find the perfect balance between our head and our heart? Part 4. The ultimate mind hack. So how do we stop this internal battle and start using both logic and emotion to make better decisions? Here's the ultimate mind hack. First, pause and name your emotion. Before making a big decision, take a beat to check in with yourself. Notice what emotions are present. Are you feeling anxious, excited, nervous? By simply naming the emotion, you gain control over it. This brings us to the second step. Use the 10-10-10 rule. This is a simple trick to help balance your thinking by considering 3 time frames: 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. Ask yourself, how will this decision feel in 10 minutes? Will it still feel good, or will you already be regretting it? Next, consider 10 months. If the immediate emotions are strong, the longer time frame may bring clarity. Finally, think about how this decision will feel in 10 years. This helps put any short-term feelings into perspective. This exercise helps you weigh the pros and cons more objectively by forcing you to think beyond the immediate impact of your emotions. Third, use logic as the map, emotion as the compass. When you're torn between 2 paths, use logic to help set your direction. Consider factors like long-term implications, potential outcomes, and whether the decision aligns with your values and goals. At the same time, pay attention to your emotions. What is this feeling trying to tell me? Rather than suppressing your emotions, ask yourself this question. This helps you stay open to your intuition while still setting a clear direction. Sometimes our emotions pick up on things our logic misses, like an opportunity for growth, a red flag in a relationship, or a creative solution to a problem. When you listen to your emotions, you open yourself up to possibilities you wouldn't have considered otherwise. While logic provides a roadmap, emotion acts as a compass guiding you toward what truly matters. Remember, both are needed to navigate life's complexities. Final thought. So who wins the war between logic and emotion? The truth is, they both do. The smartest and most fulfilling choices come from understanding how to let them work together. Logic provides clarity, helping us see the bigger picture and plan ahead, while emotions offer valuable insight into what truly matters to us. They may sometimes be at odds, but ultimately they have the same goal: our happiness and well-being. By embracing both our rational and intuitive sides, we can make decisions that lead to greater fulfillment and success. It's about accepting that we are complex human beings, not just logical thinkers or emotional feelers. It's about recognizing that both aspects are essential to who we are and learning how to harness their power. So the next time you're torn between a choice, don't try to silence one side or the other. Instead, listen to both your heart and your mind. They're both trying to lead you in the right direction. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with a decision between logic and emotion? Which one did you choose, and what was the outcome? Share your story in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Until next time. We've all been here. You're torn between two options, love and logic, battling it out inside your head. Maybe it's a job opportunity that feels wrong, a friend who doesn't treat you well, or a hobby you love but are bad at. So stick around to the end where we will uncover those aha moments to harness this power. So many times we feel stuck between what our heart wants and what our head says is best, often creating a big dramatic battle in our minds. But what if instead of being enemies working against each other, will and emotion could team up and become the ultimate dynamic duo? In this video, we'll look at how these two forces work together. First, we'll debunk the myth of pure logic. Then we'll explore the science behind why our emotions affect our rationality. And finally, we'll reveal a simple hack to help you choose the path that's right for you. Part 2, the problem with pure logic. You might think, I make decisions logically, but here's the twist. Even when we think we're being purely rational, emotions are still playing a role. We just don't realize it. For example, have you ever been so sure you were making the smart choice, only to feel uneasy afterward? That's because your gut was telling you something you ignored. Or maybe you justified a decision with logic, but deep down you knew you were just trying to convince yourself. Being purely logical seems ideal, but it's actually more complicated than it appears. It requires dissecting every option, predicting future outcomes, calculating probabilities, and evaluating the value of potential results. And even then, there's no guarantee that the most logical choice will lead to the best outcome. For example, staying at a job that pays the bills but makes you miserable may be the most logical choice in terms of financial stability. But what's the point of financial security if you're miserable? Sometimes our most logical choices can lead us to unhappiness. Similarly, ending a toxic relationship may seem like the most logical thing to do, but it can still hurt like hell. This is why sometimes the logical choice isn't the one we end up making. And while we might think our decisions are entirely rational, studies show that's almost never the case. Our emotions play a huge role in decision making, even when it comes to things we think are purely logical. It turns out that even our most rational seeming decisions are made with our whole hearts and brains, not just our heads. Part 3. The illusion of rationality studies show that people with brain damage affecting emotional processing struggle to make even the simplest decisions. They can get stuck endlessly analyzing options without ever choosing one. This proves that even the most rational decisions need emotions to function. In other words, the war between logic and emotion is a myth. They're not enemies, they're partners. Think of it this way: logic sets the course, but emotion guides the way. When we try to ignore our emotions and pretend they're not there, we lose the benefit of their guidance. This is why sometimes, even when we know what we should do, we still end up going with our gut. Our intuition is based on past experiences and subconscious observations that our brains have processed. By ignoring our gut feeling, we're essentially ignoring all that prior learning. Imagine it like driving a car. You set your destination using logic, but you rely on your instincts and sensory input to navigate the road. The same is true with our decisions. We use logic to set our goals, but our emotions help guide us toward achieving them. When we try to shut off our emotions, we lose this valuable guidance system. That's why sometimes our most logical plans fail. We miss important details or make unwise choices along the way. On the other hand, when we listen to our gut, even if the path isn't perfectly logical, we have a much better chance of reaching our destination successfully. But how exactly can we get our logic and emotion working together in harmony? How can we find the perfect balance between our head and our heart? Part 4. The ultimate mind hack. So how do we stop this internal battle and start using both logic and emotion to make better decisions? Here's the ultimate mind hack. First, pause and name your emotion. Before making a big decision, take a beat to check in with yourself. Notice what emotions are present. Are you feeling anxious, excited, nervous? By simply naming the emotion, you gain control over it. This brings us to the second step. Use the 10-10-10 rule. This is a simple trick to help balance your thinking by considering 3 time frames: 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years. Ask yourself, how will this decision feel in 10 minutes? Will it still feel good, or will you already be regretting it? Next, consider 10 months. If the immediate emotions are strong, the longer time frame may bring clarity. Finally, think about how this decision will feel in 10 years. This helps put any short-term feelings into perspective. This exercise helps you weigh the pros and cons more objectively by forcing you to think beyond the immediate impact of your emotions. Third, use logic as the map, emotion as the compass. When you're torn between two paths, use logic to help set your direction. Consider factors like long-term implications, potential outcomes, and whether the decision aligns with your values and goals. At the same time, pay attention to your emotions. What is this feeling trying to tell me? Rather than suppressing your emotions, ask yourself this question. This helps you stay open to your intuition while still setting a clear direction. Sometimes our emotions pick up on things our logic misses, like an opportunity for growth, a red flag in a relationship, or a creative solution to a problem. When you listen to your emotions, you open yourself up to possibilities you wouldn't have considered otherwise. While logic provides a roadmap, emotion acts as a compass guiding you toward what truly matters. Remember, both are needed to navigate life's complexities. Final thought. So who wins the war between logic and emotion? The truth is, they both do. The smartest and most fulfilling choices come from understanding how to let them work together. Logic provides clarity, helping us see the bigger picture and plan ahead, while emotions offer valuable insight into what truly matters to us. They may sometimes be at odds, but ultimately they have the same goal, our happiness and well-being. By embracing both our rational and intuitive sides, we can make decisions that lead to greater fulfillment and success. It's about accepting that we are complex human beings, not just logical thinkers or emotional feelers. It's about recognizing that both aspects are essential to who we are and learning how to harness their power. So the next time you're torn between a choice, don't try to silence one side or the other. Instead, listen to both your heart and your mind. They're both trying to lead you in the right direction. Now it's time to hear from you. Have you ever struggled with a decision between logic and emotion? Which one did you choose, and what was the outcome? Share your story in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share with a friend. Until next time.